Please feel free to continue eating and drinking. However, as I am about to be called away, I'm going to front load our learning a little bit. And I want to focus with you this morning on a verse from the middle of our Parsha, not the beginning of our Parsha as we often do, which says, Ki hagoyim ha'ele asher ata yoreshotam el me'onanim ve'el kosmim yishma'u va'ata lochein natan lecha Adonai Elohecha. The verse essentially says that the nations whom you will dispossess from the land of Canaan are in the habit of going to it's a good word in English, to soothsayers and to augurs and to a whole host of people who are trying to divine the will of the gods. And you, however, should not do so. Lochein is the emphasis of the verse and the emphasis of the commentary, because the Lord your God has given you alternative modes of knowing what the divine will is, very specifically the Torah as a document. And Rabbi Yaakov Eiger builds a commentary around that verse in which he says the following: Yisrael mechunan be'ofi utchuna ruchanit shel lochein. The people of Israel are defined by a characteristic of spirit that is not so, which could be understood as a certain amount of obstinacy. Not that we ever see any evidence of that in the Jewish people, either in the time of Moshe or in our own day. But apparently in Rabbi Eiger's time this was a bit of an issue. But he's trying to find a bit of a positive spin for it. Lochein, not so. Beruach shel mered behitkomemut ladeot hanifsadot hamoshlot bakippah. That there is a spirit of rebelliousness, of negation and antipathy towards the vagaries of the religious ideas and the secular ideas that are floating around in the world, and that we are very much like Avraham Ha'ivri, like Abraham Ha'ivri, the first Hebrew. And if you remember, the understanding of Ivri was someone who was me'ever, someone who was on the other side. So, hu me'ever achad, v'chol ha'olam me'ever acher. So that Abraham was on one side of the philosophy, outlook, mindset of the world of that day, and everyone else was on the other side. And that has been part of the fabric of the Jewish people through time. Hu shover elilei hazman u'mecholel mehafafot b'machshava ha'enoshit. That just as Abraham was the one who was willing to smash the idols of his day and was willing to create a revolution in the way people thought about God and introduce a whole monotheistic belief and therefore stand in opposition to the pagan and idolatrous communities of his day, so too we have to be as strong and as filled with fortitude and zeal as Abraham himself was, so that we can stand in opposition to the idolatries of our own day. That there are constantly going to be a host of ideologies and philosophies that percolate in the world around us, and that those philosophies and ideologies are ones that are going to require of us lochein, the ability to say not so, the ability to say this is outside the parameters of what the Kadosh Baruch Hu, of what the Holy One wants for us as a Jewish people, as expressed in the words of the Torah and in the teachings of our tradition. And that the lochein, that obstinacy, that stubbornness, that unwillingness to conform are both an essential attribute of us as a nation and as a people, and an essential attribute for our survival going into the future. So you now have permission to be stubborn.
Not to be stubborn to our own religion.
No, it's not to be stubborn vis-a-vis Judaism. It's to be stubborn, tenacious, probably is a better word, in our enthusiasm, in our embrace of Judaism, Jewish life, Jewish tradition, and Jewish heritage.
In the meantime,